The world sees Henry Cavill as the perfect man. Strong, successful, unstoppable. But what if I told you he was once bullied, rejected by Hollywood again and again, and labeled the unluckiest actor alive? He lost Superman, lost James Bond, and nearly lost himself. This is not a story about fame. This is the shocking truth about the struggles that almost broke Henry Cavill. Before they made him unstoppable, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Dive into what really happened. Before Henry Cavill became the symbol of Superman, before millions admired his strength, confidence, and unforgettable screen presence, his life was filled with rejection, loneliness, and painful self-doubt. The world today sees a powerful Hollywood icon, but very few know the quiet suffering that shaped the man behind the fame. This is not just the rise of a movie star. This is the story of someone who nearly disappeared before the world finally paid attention. Henry Cavill was born in 1983 on the small island of Jersey, far away from Hollywood's glamour and opportunity. Growing up, he didn't look like the confident leading man people recognize today. As a child, Henry was shy, soft-spoken, and struggled with his weight. In school, he became an easy target for bullying. Classmates mocked him, laughed at his appearance, and made him feel invisible. Those cruel words didn't fade with time. They stayed with him, quietly shaping his insecurities. While other kids walked through school with confidence, Henry often felt unsure of himself. He questioned his worth, his appearance, and whether he truly belonged anywhere. Many nights were spent feeling alone, wondering why he couldn't fit in like everyone else. Yet, even in those difficult moments, a small but powerful fire burned inside him. Henry had a dream. He discovered acting at a young age and instantly felt a connection to it. On stage, he wasn't the shy, bullied kid anymore. He could become someone else, someone strong, confident, and respected. Acting gave him a sense of purpose when nothing else did. It became his escape, his safe place, and eventually, his ambition. But dreams come with a price. Henry had no idea how difficult the journey ahead would be. He didn't know how many doors would close in his face or how lonely the road to success would feel. He only knew one thing. He refused to let his past define his future. That quiet determination, born from pain and isolation, would later become his greatest strength. And long before the fame, the red carpet, and the applause, Henry Cavill was already fighting the hardest battle of all, believing in himself. Henry Cavill's early career can be described with one painful word: almost. Not failure, almost success. Not rejection, almost chosen. Again and again, he stood at the edge of greatness, only to watch it slip away. In the early 2000s, Henry began auditioning for major Hollywood roles. He had the look, the presence, and the talent, but somehow he was never the final choice. One of the most heartbreaking moments came when he auditioned for James Bond in Casino Royale. Henry came incredibly close. Studios admired him, and many believed he could redefine the iconic role. But in the end, the part went to Daniel Craig. For Henry, it was devastating, but not the end. Soon after, he was considered for Superman Returns. Once again, hope returned. Once again, he imagined himself wearing the cape. And once again, the role slipped through his fingers. That loss hurt even more, because Superman wasn't just a role. It was a symbol of everything Henry wanted to become. As these rejections piled up, Hollywood began to whisper. Industry insiders labeled him the unluckiest man in Hollywood. Casting directors consistently praised his professionalism and ability, yet they always chose someone else. Years passed, and while other actors rose to fame, Henry was stuck taking small, forgettable roles. The spotlight remained distant. Behind the scenes, the emotional toll was heavy. Each audition carried hope, and each rejection brought disappointment. There were moments when Henry questioned himself. Was he good enough? Was this dream worth the pain, the uncertainty, and the constant almost? Many actors in his position would have walked away. Many did. But Henry didn't. Instead of giving up, he made a powerful decision: to prepare, not retreat. He trained his body with discipline, transforming himself physically. He studied acting with deeper focus, refining his craft. Mentally, he strengthened his resilience, learning how to accept rejection without letting it destroy him. Henry believed something most people forget. Opportunity favors the prepared. If Hollywood wouldn't open the door yet, he would stand ready outside it, stronger, sharper, and unbreakable. And one day, when that door finally opened, Henry Cavill would not be asking for a chance. He would be ready to claim it. While Henry Cavill was fighting to establish his career, his personal life was quietly falling into another kind of struggle. To the outside world, Henry appeared to have everything: a handsome face, a powerful physique, and rising fame. Many people called him the perfect man. But behind the camera, the reality was very different. Fame brought attention, but it also brought loneliness. As Henry became more well-known, dating became complicated and stressful. Simple, private moments turned into public discussions. Every relationship he entered was closely watched, judged, and criticized by strangers. The media turned his love life into headlines, and social media turned opinions into harsh comments. No matter what he did, someone had something negative to say. Henry once openly admitted that dating while famous felt terrifying. Trust became one of his biggest challenges. He struggled to know who genuinely cared about him and who was attracted to the image the world had created. Privacy, something most people take for granted, slowly disappeared from his life. Social media only intensified the pressure. Whenever Henry shared a happy moment or a glimpse of his personal life, waves of criticism followed. Rumors spread quickly, often far from the truth. Cruel comments and unrealistic expectations weighed heavily on him. Even someone as strong-looking as Henry was not immune to emotional pain. At one point, the negativity became overwhelming. Henry made the difficult but necessary decision to step away from social media. It wasn't weakness, it was self-protection. He chose mental health over public approval, something many celebrities struggle to do. Despite playing powerful heroes on screen, Henry often felt deeply misunderstood. People saw Superman, Geralt, or a fantasy version of perfection, but not the man underneath. He wanted to be seen not as a symbol or a fantasy, but as a human being with emotions, doubts, and vulnerabilities. This chapter of his life revealed a powerful truth. Fame does not protect you from loneliness. In some cases, it amplifies it. Henry Cavill's journey reminds us that even those we admire most fight silent battles behind closed doors. And through it all, Henry continued moving forward, learning, growing, and quietly becoming stronger from the inside. Then finally, destiny knocked. After years of rejection, self-doubt, and being labeled almost good enough, Henry Cavill received the call that would change his life forever. In 2013, he was cast as Superman in Man of Steel. The same role he had once lost was now in his hands. For Henry, it wasn't just a career breakthrough. It was proof that patience and persistence truly matter. When the film was released, the world finally saw what Hollywood had overlooked for so long. Henry's Superman wasn't just powerful. He was grounded, emotional, and human. He didn't simply wear the suit. He earned it through years of discipline, intense physical training, and deep emotional preparation. Every moment of rejection had built him into the man needed for this role. But success came with a heavy price. Playing one of the most iconic characters in history meant living under constant pressure. Critics were divided. Some praised his performance, while others questioned the direction of the character. Fan debates filled the internet, and expectations grew impossibly high. Carrying the symbol of Superman on his shoulders was emotionally exhausting. The weight of public opinion followed Henry everywhere. Yet once again he refused to break. Henry remained professional, respectful, and focused, even when criticism became overwhelming. He understood that true strength wasn't about pleasing everyone. It was about staying true to your values. Instead of letting negativity define him, he used it as fuel to grow stronger. Then came another turning point. When Henry took on the role of Geralt of Rivia in The Witcher, Many doubted him. Could he succeed outside the superhero world? Henry answered not with words but with passion. A lifelong fan of the books and games, he poured his heart into the character. His dedication shocked both critics and fans. This time the response was different. Audiences embraced him, not just for his appearance, but for his deep respect for the story and his commitment to authenticity. He listened to fans. He honored the source material. And in doing so, he earned something even more valuable than fame, respect. Henry Cavill was no longer the unluckiest actor in Hollywood. He was a survivor, fighter, a man who had walked through the storm and emerged stronger on the other side. When people look at Henry Cavill, they often focus on his physical strength, his superhero roles, and his commanding on-screen presence. But the truth is, Henry Cavill's greatest strength has never been his muscles or the characters he played. His real strength is something far deeper: his resilience. Throughout his journey, Henry faced rejection without allowing bitterness to poison his spirit. Hollywood told him almost again and again, yet he never turned angry or resentful. Instead of blaming the industry or the people who passed him over, he chose to improve himself. That quiet discipline became one of his defining traits. He also faced loneliness, sometimes intense, sometimes painful, but he never lost his kindness or humanity. Fame isolated him in ways few people understand, yet Henry remained grounded. He spoke openly about feeling misunderstood, about struggling with trust, and about the emotional weight of public scrutiny. In doing so, he reminded millions that strength does not mean silence. True strength means honesty. When fame finally arrived, Henry handled it with rare balance. He didn't let success erase his values or reshape his identity. In an industry that often demands perfection, he stayed authentic. He chose roles he respected, spoke his truth even when it was unpopular, and stepped away when his mental health required it. That courage, to protect himself in a world that constantly watches, is a strength many never develop. Today, Henry Cavill openly supports conversations about mental health, self-respect, and perseverance. He reminds people that success rarely happens overnight and that failure is not a final sentence. Every setback, every rejection, every painful moment can become part of the foundation for something greater. His life teaches one powerful lesson: being underestimated can become your greatest advantage. When no one expects you to win, you learn how to rely on yourself. You grow stronger quietly. You prepare patiently. Henry Cavill didn't succeed because the journey was easy. He succeeded because he refused to quit when quitting would have been understandable. And that is the untold story behind the man the world now admires. Not just as an actor, not just as a hero, but as a symbol of perseverance, humility, and inner strength.